What's up, guys? This is Bobo Jones, and wanted to make another quick video about this 2022 Aprilia Tuono V4 1100 base model, the RR model, or the touring model as they're trying to market it as, and whether it's good to have as a commuting bike. I thought it was apt to start this video at a red light, since you do a lot of that when you're commuting. So again, if you haven't seen some of my other videos, I'm coming from a BMW S1000 XR, which is a pretty big sport touring bike. It has a racing inline-4 engine in it, and it was an excellent commuting bike, mainly because that bike was really nicely balanced, even though it was a bit more top-heavy. That made it really easy to just kind of move around nimbly. And because that engine is so sweet, those inline-4s are so smooth, so easy to control, even at low revs and at low speeds. Whereas this Aprilia is kind of a monster. So already some points for the XR and against the Aprilia is that this Aprilia V4 is nowhere near as smooth as an inline-4 engine, whatever you have, or like, you know, some lower capacity engines. And so for commuting already, I mean, the XR was just way better than this bike, even though it's bigger and filtering's a bit harder on the XR. Overall, it's not that much harder. The handlebar width and the mirror width is about the same, and it more than makes up for it in the smoothness and the ride height, which is another kind of slight negative for the Aprilia over something like if you have a GS or an XR, is the ride height of the BMW is so much better because you just saw over so much more of traffic. Let's gun it. Oh yeah! Alright, I don't want my panniers to fly off. So yeah, points there for something like a BMW or GS, or just a more upright kind of adventure bike or sport touring bike like a Multistrada. Just the view you get and what you can see of traffic is so much better. I should add, on this ride, I'm not taking the nice beach route that I normally take, so that I can be in shitty fucking Lincoln Avenue traffic here and give an honest impression of how it is. I'm going to open my visor. Hopefully this doesn't sound terrible. And actually talk about more how it is with filtering and with having to use a lot of clutch control. So on my BMW, in this kind of like, when you're in that kind of like 10 to 20 mile an hour, you never feel like you're lugging the engine. You never feel like you have to use too much clutch control. On this bike, you definitely have to use way more. So that's another negative for this bike. Positives for this bike are it's very nimble, very easy to steer even at low speeds. Besides that the throttle is jerkier, it's very easy to maneuver quickly and easily through cars if you're filtering. Still has the, you know, super speed of the XR. I mean, this is even faster than the XR for when you just need to like jam out and get away from cars, which I'm a big fan of when I commute. Is I like to, you know, jam out a lot. Are you going to let me go? No, not going to let me go. Got to put my feet down. And so very fast, which I think is a positive for a commuter bike, to get yourself out of trouble or to get away from traffic very quickly. And let's close my visor again. Oh, police officer. So now we're going a nice speed limit here. Again, the nice part of my bike, just to pause from commuting, is that I got the white bike and I put panniers on it. I have full gear. I have my backpack on, so I'm not the type to attract attention from this guy, unless I now suddenly didn't realize that this seemingly innocent looking pickup truck is actually a police car, and decided to gun it past him at 130 miles an hour here, which is something people like to do on this road since there's no intersections. Not me, of course, I would never do anything like that, but some people like to. And then I'd be in big trouble right now with this guy if I didn't notice it was a police officer. Again, I'd never do anything like that, so it wouldn't happen, but I'm just talking about theoretically here. Okay, so this bike's not good for smoothness, not good for being tall, very good for flickability, very good for speed. Whoa, lots of cops. We're on best behavior. We say, "Hi, officer, I'm being a good boy on my motorcycle. Leave me alone. Look, I have panniers. I'm a nerd." Okay, so yeah, so overall I'd call it pretty good, but you'd definitely be better off with something with a smoother engine and that has a more upright seating position. I definitely felt like I was able to control the XR a bit more, control the power a bit more, use my clutch less, so my hand was less tired on that, and that also had like a really proper bucket seat that you were sitting in, whereas I really feel like I'm sitting on top of this Aprilia, which again in slow traffic just gets exhausting. If you're not moving on this, there's more weight on your wrists and your arms, even if you're hugging the tank with your knees. It's just natural that this is going to get more exhausting in stop and go, very slow traffic where you're not moving fast and getting some of your weight back and off of your hands. The position of your knees is also less comfortable in this. And so overall, yeah, I'd call this a medium good commuting bike. Not great, not terrible, medium good. And that's about it. So yeah, fine commuting bike. I almost kept my XR just because it's so much better at commuting, and it's just so much better at touring, and it's just so much chiller to ride than this is. And so that's one of the main reasons I considered keeping both bikes. Oh, and the suspension is so much better. I forgot to mention the suspension. So if you have the factory version of this, look at this shit I'm going over now. This feels horrible on my ass. If you have the factory version of this, you're probably okay. But again, I have the manual Sachs suspension on this touring version. And so again, it's just not going to be as cushy and nice as something like an XR or a GS or, a Kawasaki Versys or some of the legendary commuting bikes. Probably even something like a FZ07 and 09 would be better than this, because they're probably a little softer. This is a bit racier. So over broken pavement, another point off for the Aprilia. But then, when you're in a tunnel on those, you can't do this. So that's a point down for those bikes and a point up for the Aprilia. So anyway, now that we're in this tunnel, I think I will leave it there. I think I covered all of the areas. We'll give this a 6 out of 10 commuter score. It's certainly very exciting and engaging and fun to ride on your commute. But then when you inevitably get stuck in the slow, horrible shit, which I didn't because it's the middle of the afternoon today, but if I came back at 5, I'd just be in non-stop stop and go traffic. It gets a 6 for that. But for this sort of chill commuting where there wasn't much traffic, I'll give it a 7. All right, that's it, guys. This is Bobo Jones saying, arrivederci, ride safe and have fun and live life to the fullest. Bye-bye.